Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Fun Gaming Connoisseur, and welcome back to another game guide video for Mortal Online 2. Today we're playing on version 1.0.0.30, and so today, as you can see, I'm going to talk about magic. And so for those who are planning to be mages or some kind of hybrid, I want to just give you some advice on the skills that I feel is important if you're going to go down that route. And so regardless of which magic skill you go into, there's several here. There's animism and ecumenical spells, spiritism, and I think later on, very soon, there will be necromancy. So regardless of which skill you go into, I think this skill group is mandatory, in my opinion. Mental training, which is the primary. So underneath this skill group, there's mental focus, which reduces the mana cost of your spells by up to 50%, and concentration prevents interruption from when you're spell casting from 10% up to 60%. And if you're mounted, then this effect is halved. Now, probably the most important one in this skill group is mental offense, which increases the effectiveness of your spells by up to 200%, and that is huge. 200% is a massive increase. And so just to give you, just move this out of the way. So if you look at my ecumenical spells, so outburst. Now with my skills at 75, that's not even 100 yet, it already does 17 to 21 points of damage. And now if you have very high intelligence, let's say you have up to 100, I'm planning to make it up to 80, because I am a hybrid, so I'm not going to make it all the way to 100 and beyond. But if you have your intelligence up to 100 and beyond, then I would imagine that this would be this would go even higher, maybe in the 30s or something. I'm not too sure. And also, if you take mental offense, if you train up that skill, then you'll find that even your spurt spell will do damage. So when you first train up spurt, you'll probably notice that it doesn't really do anything. All it does is splash some water on the target, and most of the time it won't do any damage. But once you train up mental offense, you'll see that it starts to do 4 to 7 points of damage. And so in the right situation, you could, and it only takes up 1 water, so you can go to the local well and just collect a whole bunch of water and just cast it at any target that you want, and it will do damage. Not a lot compared to other spells, but it will do damage. So it just goes to show you that mental offense really does make a difference. And also lightning, if you're into that. I'm not using this one, but if you're into lightning, then it can really wreak damage, heavy damage on your target. And likewise, this is probably the main draw of mental offense for those who are healers, or who need a healing ability, a healing spell. You'll see that this actually does 14 to 21 points of damage, and that is quite a bit. And once you have mental focus and you half the cost of the mana to 4, and you combine with a large mana pool, you can really become a very powerful healer for your group. So regardless, like I said, regardless of which skills, magic skill you plan to go into, this skill group here, I'll just bring that back to the center. This skill group, all the spells in this skill group, mental focus, concentration, and mental offense, is practically mandatory, regardless of whether you're going to be a full mage or a hybrid. And now, if you are planning to go to be a dedicated mage, you might also want to go into vitalism. I'm not planning to do this one because I'll just show you because of the armor that I'm wearing, my mana regeneration is already reduced almost close to 60% effectiveness. And so now if you're a human, if you take the human Clade, then you can take this Clade ability, which will add another 4 kilograms of armor before you start to suffer mana regeneration penalties when you're wearing armor. So this is another Clade that I'm planning to take, because I am, as you can see, I'm wearing, I'm wearing armor which is, let me just see how much that weighs. It weighs 7.28 kilograms. Now, of course, you can use other materials to reduce that weight down. You can use silk for the backing or something like that, or some other leather material for the main material. And so, anyway, if you plan to go to be a dedicated mage, then you might want to look into vitalism, which is another primary, and mana regeneration, which gives you another 25 to 100% more passive mana regeneration when you're sitting down. Oh no, sorry. When you're just playing the game, not sitting down, but when you're just doing what you do normally, just walking around and whatever. Meditation will give you another 0 to 100% when you're resting. And so if you're planning to be a dedicated mage, then this might be another skill group that you want to take up: mana regeneration and meditation. Now, what I recommend that you do is that you don't just buy the skill under the skill group, but you also buy the parent skill. Train up vitalism first before you train up these two, and likewise make sure you train up mental training first. Buy the skill book before you take up any of the child skills underneath it, because I've noticed that there's a bit of a, if you were to take up buy the skills under the skill group first, I've noticed that it's kind of, it reduces the amount of skills that you get trained. I don't know if this is true or not, but from what I've observed, it does seem like if you don't train up the parent skill first, then when you just directly train, let's say mana regeneration or meditation or mental focus, concentration, mental offense, instead of training it up to 70, you end up training it to maybe 50 or 45 or something like that, or maybe even less. I don't know whether that's a intended penalty for not training up the parent skill first or something like that. I'm not too sure, but it's just something that I've noticed. Now, I can't confirm that because I've only just sort of observed it briefly, but it might be something you want to be aware of. Yeah, so train up your vitalism first if you plan to go into any of these two skills in the skill group, and likewise with mental training. Okay, and alright, so let me just... There's a lot of people dueling today. Right now in Fabernum. So you can collect water here. You just hold down R to gather, and it's free, for the spurt spell or for lesser healing. So if you collect water here, then you won't need to. Then all you need to collect is the calamine for lesser healing. Then you can get it in the hunting the undead, the zombies in the graveyard or in the Fabernum guard tower. And if you're looking for the magic skills librarian, so this vendor here will sell you pretty much all the skills that I've just described. It'll sell you ecumenical spells and okay, so there's another. I think this is an extension of concentration. So it's possible that this book will only train it up to a certain amount, and then if you want to train it up any further, then you'll need to look into these two skill books. I think this is meant to be 3. I think, yeah, 3. So mana regeneration, mental focus, spiritism, ether law, mounted magery. So Let me just bring back the so concentration. So if you're mounted, then this will only be 30% maximum if you have it trained up to 100. But if you're, let me just see this. So mounted magery, let me see what that does. So I'll be under writing, I think, control writing, mounted magery. Increases your effectiveness with magic while mounted. So it's possible that this will restore that that concentration penalty up back to 60%. I'm not too sure. I haven't tried it out, but yeah, if you plan to be a mounted mage, which I think there are a number of players out there, the competitive players, I think there are some who are going to be mounted mages, and likewise mounted archers and mounted melee players. Nice, that's what I wanted to cover today in this video. Now, I have seen on the chat recently, some people have been saying that, well, actually, some new players have been asking, is mages worth it? So that was the question that I heard some new players ask, and in response, I've heard some players say that mages are weak and not worth it, and it's worthless. Actually, if I were to give my opinion, I would say that mages are not worthless. They're actually quite powerful when used properly and in the right hands. Let me just get back on my box. Let me just get back up here. I believe that mages are actually quite powerful when used properly and with the right skill training. And if you know what you're doing, it's actually very, very powerful. And also, given consideration that magic spells bypass armor, and it's an instant hit. So when you aim it at a target, like when you finish casting, the pre-casting animation, and you aim at a target, the moment you fire the spell, when you fire the spell off, you'll instantly hit the target. So there's no travel time, like in with arrows, and there's no trajectory. You don't need to take into account the trajectory. When you fire arrows, the arrow goes up and then it goes down. So there's none of that with magic. So it's an instant direct cast, and so that makes it very, very powerful. And also, provided that you have the mana and the reagents in your inventory, you're basically a one-man destruction. You can wreck destruction pretty much non-stop. So if you train up all the mana regeneration skills, and you have your mana regeneration at sorry, not this one. If you have your mana regeneration at 100, then you can very quickly be an unstoppable force of magic. So it is very powerful. So I wouldn't, if you would ask me, I wouldn't say that mages are worthless and useless and weak. I don't think that's true. But everyone has their own opinion on mages. So, but take of it as you will. I'm just here to give you, explain to you what some of the things that you can do to make yourself a very powerful mage. And I think mages will be very much sought after. Whether you're ecumenical magic user or a spiritist or a necromancer, I think you will become a much sought after character in groups and also in other scenarios. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't discount mages as a viable play style and as a viable character build. And so yeah, so that's just what I wanted to cover today. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you found this video useful. And as always, if you could please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And so I will be back next time with my next videos. And so until then, Thank you for watching. This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur. Take care and have a good day.